creatures of the night, it's your girl Tati. Let's talk about Dynamite. We had a pretty great episode today. We actually started off with 8-man tag. We had Speedball Mike Bailey teaming up with Pastor Briscoe, Kevin Knight, and Kenny by God Omega. Lord have mercy. He looks so good. So good. They went against Ricochet and the Elite, Okada and the Jackson brothers. Really fun way to start off the night. Everyone here, as much as it pains me to say nice things about the Jackson brothers, they are all really talented, and this made out for a really fun match. Now, Kenny, I would prefer to see you building things up in terms of this international title, but they're doing something with Kenny and the Elite all over again. Honestly, I'm not really in for it, but that's what we're doing right now. This was really fun, and towards the end of the match, we had, I'm telling you, for the longest, what seemed like 5 minutes, maybe even a little bit longer, Pastor Briscoe and Okada were the two legal men. But there's so much going on, not like too much as an eyesore, but a lot going on where it's sometimes you're forgetting, like, who are the legal guys here? And for quite some time, it was Mark and Okada. And to be honest, I'm not even gonna lie, I don't even remember the last time I even seen Okada in the ring. I feel like we're just getting him in the ring on a monthly basis, and unfortunately, as a champion, that's not good enough, Tony Khan. And this is Okada we're talking about. Match went really well. However, we end up taking the win on the heel side. Okada takes the win for the team, giving a rainmaker to Pastor Briscoe. And honestly, I'm cool with this. However, Kenny, I would prefer him to be away from the Elite right now. So now we have the Hurt Syndicate making their way into the building, and there's some local talent that's all dressed up, fangirling about the Hurt Syndicate coming in. I'm not gonna lie, I would be fangirling too if I seen Shelton Benjamin looking all cute with that suit. The Hurt Syndicate seem to be like, oh, we got some fans, but then they end up whooping their asses, and sometimes it be like that. Now, as they're making their way into the building, they stop and they're just like, Bobby, we know you don't like MJF, but we would benefit if his ass was in the group. And Bobby seems to be like, okay, well, we'll see what happens later on tonight when they end up having a little segment in the ring. Now, here we have the Ops. They are in trios action, and they're going against somebody, I don't know, Rhett Titus, who cut his hair. And when I tell you, he don't got not 1 ounce of fat on him. Where has he been? Where has he been? I can't even believe it. Like, not us. He haven't probably had carbs since 2023. And then we had Nick Comoroto. Nick Comoroto, who the last time I seen him, he did get injured. This was like summer of last year. He shaved all the chest hair, the back hair, and everything else. And now he's full-blown gorilla juice head, everything right now. And honestly, I'm kind of thinking that I don't have a problem with it. This is just something for the Hurt Syndicate to do, really, to be honest with you. Not Hurt Syndicate, the Ops. Something for them to do. Honestly, they, in my opinion, when I look at these three, they are a credible team. I really look at them as a credible team. However, I don't want it to feel like, because Samoa Joe is doing this little thing with Jon Moxley in a couple of weeks, that we're just going to put this group into just squash jobber situations. I personally don't care for it. Now, after they end up taking the win, immediately, the Death Riders come on out there and just start putting the hurt on them. Now, we do have Samoa Joe, who puts Moxley in the coquina clutch again. And while Samoa Joe is holding on to Moxley's neck, what are we doing with the champion at this point? Now, while he's doing that, here we have Claudio, who hits our boy Shibata with a neutralizer on a steel chair, okay? Samoa Joe is upset. The Death Riders end up running through the crowd. Samoa Joe gets on the mic. He's calling them over, and they're not even stopping. They're just like, hey, we getting out of this rusty-ass town. And they get on out, and then Samoa Joe gets on the mic, and he does his little promo, calling Jon Moxley bitch and all this shit, and that they're going to have their match in 2 weeks at Beach Break. However, what's going to happen is that they're going to have a match in a steel cage. Now, that does make things more interesting, but Samoa Joe could have said all that without spitting all over the damn camera. I can't wait to see how that goes. Now, after this, we have a sit-down interview with Renee Paquette and our CEO, Mercedes Moné. She's talking about how she's going to go against Jamie Hayter, and she's dressed up like some Scooby-Doo's character and all this shit. Just talking shit about Jamie Hayter and how she's going to whoop her ass and then end up beating Toni Storm at, whatever is that, All In for the women's title. Now, after this, we have the Patriarchy. They are doing their little interview, and Nick Wayne is talking about him holding the title. But then here comes Jay Lethal, who interrupts, pretty much just saying, hey, you know, I was the longest reigning TV champion. That's not true, is it? Is he the longest reigning? Isn't it Samoa Joe? I'm going to have to do research on that. I'll get back to y'all on that. And he goes, I was the longest reigning TV champion in ROH. How about I go against you tonight? Now, Nick Wayne's like, well, you know what, I don't got my gear. It's Wednesday night. If you subtract that by like 2, it's practically a Monday. I don't really know what to do and all that. And then Christian was like, well, he'll fight you. He'll fight you. He'll put the title on the line tonight. Jay Lethal's happy about it. And Nick Wayne doesn't seem to be happy, but Father knows best. Up next, we have Miyu Yamashita versus Toni Storm in a really great match. At one point, Toni Storm, her butt just get like stuck in between like where the turnbuckle is. Miyu is filling up on her ass and even kicking her ass several times. Luther doesn't like that, so Luther gets involved like, hey, don't touch her ass, that's my ass. And he's touching her ass, and I'm just like, okay, well, can I be next? And then Miyu ends up beating the shit out of Luther before continuing her match with Toni Storm. This was a really great matchup. I think for anybody who's never seen Miyu, I will not be surprised if she ends up joining AEW. She is a free agent right now. She has... she just got a lot of other appearances to do that I've seen that she's been booked for, but I would not be surprised they end up snatching her up. She's a really talented wrestler, and I think even though we're full in AEW, having her on the roster would be a game changer. However, Toni Storm ended up taking a win. The title was on the line, I believe. Whatever the situation is, she was not going to beat the champion. Really great matchup. CEO comes on right after that with her belts, and she's looking all intimidating, and she's like, bitch, I'm gonna end up taking that title from you at All In after I beat Jamie Hayter's ass. Now Jamie Hayter comes on out there, and she gets the fight in with our CEO. And our CEO, she's looking glamorous. She got on her little heels and everything. She was not ready for this, you guys. Not ready for this, and she ends up running away. And I don't blame her, you know. You're not ready to be fighting. If you're not in a position to fight, just run off. Just run off. Now after this, we do get a backstage promo from the Don Callis family. It's Takeshita, and we have Josh Alexander and Kyle Fletcher, along with Uncle Don. Uncle Don, baby, I love to hear you. I don't know what you were saying. All I was looking at was the boys. That's all I saw. I know it had something to do with the main event with Kyle Fletcher versus Hangman, but I really wasn't paying attention. I was just freaking like, holy shit, these guys look amazing. In my opinion, I think there's too many people in the group. However, for right now, it feels fine. At some point, I think we'll be able to feel like who belongs and who doesn't belong. But Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher, they definitely fit with Don Callis. Now after this, we do have the Hurt Syndicate that end up coming on out there. Bobby, that shirt is way too tight. Like, I get it. You want everybody to know how muscular you are and how huge your biceps are. We get it. But baby, he looked like if he sneezed, that shirt was going to pop out. Buttons going to be flying and everything. Way too tight. Long story short, they tell MJF to come on out. MJF come on out. Shelton is with it with him being in the group. MVP is with it with him being in the group. And Bob, is like, no, I don't want your ass to be in the group. Now look, for me, I'm curious to see what it would be like if MJF joined the group. But I feel like this is taking so long to just get to this point. And here's MJF insulting Bobby about getting Rogaine, about his bald head and all this shit, and cussing at Bobby. Bobby snatches him up, ended up cornering him on the turnbuckle, and he is snatching him up, squeezing on his face and all that shit. And you know what? I would love to get close to MJF like that too. But it came to the point where Shelton and MVP, they're not necessarily trying to stop this from happening, but they do seem like we're just going to stay on standby in case Bobby ends up killing MJF. At this point, MJF is going to have to do something because he's going to have to prove more than what he's doing, the cars, the watches, the hoes, and all that stuff, why he would belong in the Hurt Syndicate. And since the Hurt Syndicate hurt people, MJF's going to go out there and have to hurt somebody. Now, I don't know who the sacrifice is going to be, but I hope it better not be Beast Mortos. I hope not. Now after this, we get a video package with Stoltz and Etriat, nobody cares. And then we get the Ring of Honor TV title on the line. Jay Lethal versus Nick Wayne. Our stepdaddy comes on out there. Mama Wayne, Lord have mercy, she looks so good tonight. It's just, holy fuck, she's amazing. I'm a little torn about this. Because I felt like if Nick lost, I wouldn't even be mad. I ain't gonna lie to you. I would not be mad. My thing was, we probably could have used someone else instead of Jay Lethal. I don't know if you guys remember a couple of days ago, Jay Lethal, Satnam singing them. There pretty much was just like, you know, with Sanjay being the leader of the group, which I had no clue he was, that's not getting them anywhere. Here is Jay Lethal putting him in a situation to go against someone for a title right off the bat due to the fact that he has had the TV title for the longest. I'm not 100% sure on that, still thinking about it. And then he goes on to have this match. It was really good. And some people from the live stream chat was saying that Jay carried Nick Wayne. I can't necessarily say that's true, but I do feel like with watching this and how we have barely seen any damn thing from Jay Lethal since he's walked through the AEW doors, that this match proved how much more Jay Lethal has to offer in terms of being a pro wrestler, not just somebody sitting back there eating up food and catering. He has a lot more to offer, and I'm watching this match and I'm just like, yeah, I got that man sitting back there doing what every week? He's never in the ring, and he comes out here and he gives you a really great match with Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne, I don't feel like he was carried. I do feel like he shows how well he can work with anyone, whether it's someone around his age or any veteran in the company. I don't want Jay Lethal to be used as a veteran to help the kids get over. I don't think that's enough to me. He has a lot more to offer, and if we're gonna make changes to Ring of Honor, Jay Lethal will definitely be someone that they can use over there. Jay Lethal unfortunately ends up taking the L, and with a Fisherman Buster, which I was not really expecting, because I don't even think that's Nick Wayne's finisher. Whatever. Nick Wayne wins. Jay Lethal crawl out the ring somehow, some way. And our stepdaddy seems to be proud of Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne will be going later on in May to Japan for the Best of the Super Junior tournament. That tournament, I want to say, not exactly a whole month. I think it's like 3 weeks to be exact. And for him to be gone for that long with a championship, when Ring of Honor really needs champions to actually be involved in the show, I don't think that's the best thing. But congrats to Nick Wayne for the win. Main event. I haven't been stressed out like this in quite some time. Kyle Fletcher versus Hangman. Winner of this match will go on to the finals to go against William. And winner of that match against William will go on to face, most likely, Jon Moxley for the world title at All In. This was amazing. Another amazing TV match that we just getting for free. Well, you know, y'all paying for your cable or whatever, so that's not exactly free, but you know what I mean. These guys are so freaking talented. You know, at times I feel like the matches on the show, they're okay. Some of them are fun. Some of them I don't take seriously. But when they say we're the best wrestlers, they're not lying. They are not lying. And this match right here really shuts up the naysayers when we think about we're the best wrestlers. They did such an amazing job very early on when Hangman threw Kyle onto the LED barricade. Kyle had this nasty like scratch or something where there's a lot of blood on his back, but he moves on and he keeps the match going. These two fought like, hey, I need this motherfucking opportunity. Now, I won't lie, I would not have been happy if Kyle would have won. I'm kind of burnt out with seeing Kyle Fletcher and William. I'm burnt the fuck out when it comes to William, despite him being just so fucking amazing in the ring. However, I was like, let's give us something different and let Hangman ends up taking the win. Them bitches, they went in. Tony Khan paid the overtime money, the check cleared, and they kept the film rolling. even after the show would have typically been over. And it came, I've never seen Hangman do this. Maybe I might be wrong. Hangman gives a buckshot lariat from the corner of the ring rather than in the middle. Then he goes out the ring to really give a buckshot lariat to take the win. Kyle Fletcher is a motherfucking workhorse. If that was my company, Kyle Fletcher, I would have all my money on him. He's one of those guys, when you think about the future of pro wrestling, you think about Kyle Fletcher. When you think about professional wrestling right now, you think about Kyle Fletcher. He has done so much in the past year and a half or so as a singles wrestler, proving to people that where he is exactly where he is. Come take that title off of fucking Adam Cole since you're not doing anything else, Kyle. Amazing matchup, and honestly, the right person won. Hangman, moving on to the finals with William. I would be totally okay with Hangman beating Will Ospreay to, go for the title against Moxley. But I do feel like the company's definitely leaning towards William getting to that point. Now, that match is going to take place at Double or Nothing on May 25th. Once that happens, we'll know where the tone is in terms of for All In and what the main events will be when it comes to the women's title and the world title. If Hangman does not make it to go against Moxley at the All In pay-per-view, I don't know where we're going specifically. He does have something still lingering on with MJF, and they can also bring things back up with Swerve, but I feel like the Swerve thing is very highly unlikely because both of them are kind of baby faces, tweeners right now, so I don't know if they'll go that right route. However, lovely main event. If you're not going to watch anything else from the show, the main event is absolutely worth the watch. These guys are just, they blow my mind sometimes. They really do. For them to do this on a weekly basis and just give you something to be amazed by every single time that they're in the ring, it's amazing. Not just the fact that they look good, but they perform really well. And when I think about the future of professional wrestling, think about Hangman and Kyle Fletcher, we're definitely off to the right place, especially for AEW. Y'all need to be focusing a lot more on these guys and a little less on some of these other people on the roster. Really good episode of AEW Dynamite. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Ring of Honor. Bye.